Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the host of the program. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and it educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. And it does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Realty. She is your real estate voice. And Barb, when people sell homes, they typically try to pick up and clean up so that it looks good when they're really ready to sell the home. But how does someone prepare their home for sale by decluttering?
Well, I tell you, Richard, I meet up with a lot of people that are either downsizing or they're just moving and they don't need as much house. But even so, you have to kind of make your home look like a model home before you present it to the market. And I don't think people really realize how much clutter they accumulate and they live with over time. I do. I'll admit you should see my home desk and I try to clean it up. Right now, we're doing a remodel project. So we're kicked out of the main level and we're living in the basement. So I've got this little kitchenette set up and I don't have a lot of space to work with. And it gets cluttered really quickly. So people live with clutter and they get used to it. It doesn't bother them over time. And so they think that, well, if I put my house on the market, it's a nice house, they can look past that. They're not buying my stuff. They're not buying my furniture. But the whole idea behind, first of all, there's two different things. There's downsizing meaning you are not going to need to furnish or provide decorations for as many rooms. And then the second thing is going to be, do I have too much stuff in the room where it won't present well? And I think people just get used to it. They don't notice it. It happens to everyone. I remember the Black Forest fire, right after the Waldo Canyon fire. Somebody suggested, hey, take pictures of all your rooms. And so I thought, well, okay, I'll do that. So I took my smartphone, took pictures of every room, thinking, well, I don't really have a record of all my stuff, but I took pictures. And we were in the pre-evac section of that fire, but we didn't have to evacuate. So after it was over, I went back and looked at the photos and I was shocked. I'm like, oh my God, my house is cluttered. I had no idea. So there's something about photos absolutely looking back at you and telling you, you know what, this isn't going to work for marketing purposes. Buyers need to visualize them living in that space. So if it's too cluttered, if there's too much stuff, they are just not going to even want to come see the house. It is that bad that you will get eliminated on people's smartphones just over pictures. Well, can't they look past that? Aren't they going to, come look at it anyway? And the answer is no, not anymore. There's 31% more available homes on the market. They're going to pick the best ones and spend their gas money and their time on those and skip your home if it's cluttered, even though they're not buying the stuff. That's why I suggest go around and take pictures of every single room because the pictures don't lie. I've got a picture in front of me of somebody's bedroom, big bedroom, but there's so much furniture in there. You don't notice it's big. You got trash bag on the floor. You got folded laundry on the dresser. It's just too much stuff. There's too much furniture, too much stuff in there. And that would not be a good marketing photos. So why do they reject homes over clutter? It's just because they can't envision themselves living there. That's the main reason. And why do you think builders put up model homes? That was one of the things I used to love to do as a kid. I could walk down to the pool and right next to it were some model homes. It's my favorite thing to walk in and look at those homes and lay around and play. And those homes don't have any clutter. They have just enough furniture to make it attractive and they have just the right decorations to make the buyer emotionally connect with the space. And that's what a lot of people are missing. If you market your home empty, there are two problems with that. One of them is, first of all, an empty room just looks vacuous. It's hard to tell looking online the size of the room, whether or not your furniture is going to fit. Sometimes it's hard to tell what kind of room, what room it actually is or where it is. The other problem with showing a vacant home is it absolutely attracts criminals. They look around for vacant homes. Now, our local MLS has this ridiculous rule that says if we virtually stage a room, we have to post the photos of the empty room. That's why I don't use it anymore. I have an alternative MLS that doesn't find me for all their silly infarctions. And the problem is that if you're telling the world it's empty, it's going to tell the criminals it's empty too. Signs will do the same thing. I just had one of my listings broken into, and fortunately, the seller had security, the neighbors had security, the dog had a beagle. All these things went to red alert at 5 a.m. So this criminal got caught walking down the street with the power washer in his arm. He was going to sell it for drugs, and they caught him. The police had witnesses right there, and he went off to jail. But you don't always get that lucky. And the worst case scenario is if you're telegraphing to the world that your house is empty, guess what? Squatters can move in. And with the new laws now, they don't have to leave. You're going to have to evict them and plan on stroking a check between $2,000 to $5,000 to get them out. They don't have to have a lease, but once they're in, that is their legal space, and it's ridiculous what's going on legally in this country right now, especially in this state. So when they put a model home up, they make sure it's well furnished, it's neutral, it doesn't have clutter, and they get the buyers to fall in love with it. So this is how you market. And we're going to go into some ideas about decluttering, and it can be very overwhelming. I just went through this with our house doing a remodel that they said, okay, get everything off the main level. I'm like, oh my God, except for 2 rooms. So it was pretty challenging because I'm like, all right, well, we're going to have to store some of this furniture and get everything out of the closets. And it forced us to go through each of the rooms and get rid of stuff that we didn't need. My suggestion is when you start decluttering, do it one room at a time. And the key rooms that you have to focus on are outside, curb appeal, outside front in particular, backyard view, living room, kitchen, master bathroom, and master bedroom. Those are the first ones to tackle. We don't normally take pictures of closets because they don't photograph well unless they're empty. And we don't normally take pictures of the inside of garages, but you should make it neat and tidy enough when you're showing the home that the buyer sees that there's a lot of space in there. And it might force you to go and get a storage shed and put stuff away. So when you initially start decluttering, create 3 piles: keep, donate, get rid of, right? Do I really need this? Do I really wear this? Do I really use this? You wouldn't believe how many kitchen gadgets I have, Richard. I'm still finding kitchen gadgets from being kicked out of the main level. I'm like, here's a bread machine. I don't even know if it works, but I've every time I've used it, it's been an absolute fail, and I end up with just dust in the container. So I should get rid of that. Maybe somebody might want it. I don't know. Consider renting a storage space. And what you should put in there are the things that you're absolutely going to take with you to your next home. We actually supply with our listings a interior designer that will get you started on that checklist. She'll go look at the whole home, and she'll go room by room by room and go, this room do that, this room do that, and this room do that. I had feedback on one of my listings last weekend where the buyer came up and she goes, is this professionally staged? I said, no, this is the seller's decorations, but we got a stager to come in and work with her stuff to make it look like that. And of course, the seller was tired because it was hard work. And getting rid of used furniture is not that easy. I remember a seller a few years back that had a very expensive home and she bought very expensive furniture. She could not give it away, right? So you can expect, best case scenario, that you're going to get about 10 cents on the dollar when you sell used furniture. Now, you could also donate it and make it a tax write-off. Or you could sell it. You might get lucky selling it. A lot of people use Facebook Marketplace. Start with family, friends, or church, all that kind of thing. But we're talking about decluttering. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice, and the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team. When we come back, we're going to talk about the top 11 things you should consider letting go of on your declutter journey and our hot new listings. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker, host of the program, and this is Your Real Estate Voice. Barb's the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're interested in selling your home, you want to call Barb at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about the best ways to get a house ready for sale by decluttering. I have horrible problems with clutter. Your tips are dead on, whether you're intending to sell or not. So, Barb, what are some of the other top things that home sellers should consider before getting ready to downsize and preparing to sell their home?
Well, I'm gonna admit I'm guilty of many of these things. So I'm talking to myself as well as talking to you. But this is stuff I found online that's very helpful. Number one, get rid of all your giant vases that are just laying around in cupboards somewhere that you're never going to use. Maybe a florist might like them. Kitchen gadgets, Instapots. Anybody have an Instapot? I think I used it once. It was a big mess. It wasn't that good. I'm getting rid of that. Old electronic devices, computers. I have tons of these. Could be just because I don't know how to destroy the hard drive. I guess I should just go to YouTube and find out. But basically, you want to make sure you destroy the hard drive before you get rid of computers. Same with old TVs. You know, there are a lot of these dumps and places won't take them. But I think places like Best Buy will take old TVs. Overflow of tote bags, grocery bags, purses is one of my issues. Instruction manuals or papers that you really don't need and won't use. Paper is one of those things a lot of people have a hard time letting go of. Gift wrapping supplies. I keep my Christmas stuff. I have a lot of cookbooks and I really don't cook that much, but I can't give them up. It's sort of like a family thing. Um, tea and coffee items that you're not using, extra linens, grandma's china. I love that one because I've got, I think, two sets and I'm like, I'm never going to use this. This is crazy. If you are thinking of making a move and you're planning to go on the market with a traditional sale and you'd like to get tips on what to do and what not to do to figure out exactly how to get the most money when you sell, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. If you don't want to do the traditional sale and just sell it as is, we have dozens of high net worth cash buyers that will pay pretty close to market value for your home and they'll compete with each other for your home. And that way you get the highest price. So either way, you win. Just ask any one of our sellers. I just sold Roger and Sue's home. It was a two-story. But what they did when they built the house, instead of making it a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, it was a 2-bedroom, which is very odd. We sold it to a cash investor, pretty decent price. Easy button for them. They moved out. They got their cash in 2.5 weeks. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 to go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She's the host of the program. And Barb, you have some hot new listings this week. Tell us about them.
Yeah, well, I've got a great home on Powers Road. This thing's on 35 acres with a big detached barn for all your hobbies. I've had a great condo in Briargate, townhome rather, on Smoke Tree. It's got central air in great condition. I have a beautiful home, 2-story with a finished basement on Crandall, right down there near a fountain. Also, a spectacular hobby farm on Rio Road, has great views. They have the two most adorable goats I've ever met. They're real funny, and you have to say hi, otherwise they won't forgive you. And this home is in perfect condition, and it's really a good starter home for acreage property. Another fabulous home on 5 acres on Ranch Hand Road. This home is priced in the mid fives. That'll be open this weekend today from 1 to 2. A fabulous patio home on Regiment Court. This home is a custom home, over 3,400 square feet, beautiful finishes, total easy main level living as well as low maintenance property. A fantastic home on Gull Lane on 5 acres, main level living and solar. Another great hobby farm on a Cowie Way, just lowered the price at $649,999, and a beautiful home in the trees of Black Forest on Chalet Lane in the mid nines with a detached RV barn and a beautiful home on one that's priced over 1.5 million on McPherson Drive with spectacular views. plus many, many beautiful lots, including this gorgeous one on Mountain Estates Road, 2.3 acres, gorgeous views with a well ready to make your new home. Plus, there's one up in Lake George and many others. To find out about all of ours, go to barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday at 11 o'clock, right after Cudlow. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And remember, you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Has the Buyers, or listen to the podcast on all of the podcast platforms like Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thanks for listening this weekend. We'll talk to you next weekend. To reach out to Barb again, 719-301-3900. Barb, you have a great week. We'll talk to you next weekend.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.